This is Atlantic Television Network. Welcome to Global News. First, the highlights. Fubara calls for calm over impeachment crisis in River State. APC probe alleged 13 billion naira payroll fraud in Osun State. Serap sues INEC over 55.9 billion naira 2019 election funds. Federal government budgets 33.9 billion naira for airports upgrade. Malaysia suspends Elon Musk's Grog AI. Igalo criticizes calls for Oshimen's exile. Toyin Lawani speaks on alleged hospital negligence. River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has called for calm in the state amidst the ongoing impeachment proceeding initiated by the State House of Assembly against him and his deputy, Professor Ngozi Mma-Odu. Fubara, who disclosed this during the church service held to mark the 2026 Armed Forces Remembrance Day at St. Cyprian's Anglican Church, Port Harcourt, urged residents of the state to remain calm in the face of the threats by the lawmakers, assuring residents that everything would be fine. Fubara said his decision to remain silent in the face of distractions was deliberate, adding that he draws strength from his faith in God. However, the Deputy Governor Odu in her remarks commended attendees for their presence at the church service to mark the event and also urged everyone to maintain good conduct in line with the admonition of the Dean of the Anglican Communion. Archbishop Blessing Eyinda, who in his sermon said every action will be remembered at one time or another. She also appealed to the people to continue upholding the administration in prayers, describing such reports as the pillar for sustaining the government. River State House of Assembly has alleged that it uncovered the plots to procure a court order aimed at stopping the legislature from performing its constitutional functions. A statement issued on Sunday in Port Harcourt by the Chairman House Committee on Information, Petitions and Complaints, Dr. Enemi George, said the alleged plot involves obtaining an ex parte order from a River State High Court sitting outside Port Harcourt, the state capital. This is coming after the lawmakers last Thursday commenced impeachment proceedings against Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy, Professor Ngozi Odu, over alleged gross misconduct, adding that the alleged move to stop the proceedings was dead on arrival and it would amount to an attempt to subvert the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. The lawmakers described the alleged plot as illegal, saying it contravenes sections 272 paragraph 3 and 188 paragraph 10 of the Constitution, as well as established judicial proceedings from the Court of Appeal, adding that rather than resorting to what he described as subterranean moves, the affected office holders should respond to the notice of allegations already served on them by the House. The Assembly called on those allegedly behind the move to exercise restraint and refrain from actions inimical to the Constitution and rule of law. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, says President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should go home and sleep with his two eyes closed while waiting for the result of the 2027 presidential election in Rivers State. The minister also insisted that nobody can push him and his supporters out or derail them from supporting the re-election of President Bola Tinubu for a second term in Rivers State. Wike will disclose this while addressing both supporters of the All Progressives Congress and the People's Democratic Party during his thank you visit to Port Harcourt City local government area of the state. Record how the people of Rivers State stood by him and elected Tinubu in 2023 against all odds. Wike also said the visit was to thank the people for the support in 2023 and to advise them to keep working together while assuring them that 2026 will be better than 2025. Delta State Police Command has arrested a suspected cultist and armed robber, as well as a suspect found in possession of illicit drugs, alongside the recovery of weapons and controlled substances. A statement signed by the Delta Police Public Relations Officer, Bright Edafe, on Sunday said operatives of the Ekpan Division, led by Divisional Police Officer Labe Joseph, were conducting patrols along Hausa Market, Ubeji, when they sighted 5 suspected hoodlums loitering suspiciously, and a search of Ojuluwu led to the recovery of a locally fabricated gun and 2 live cartridges concealed in his trousers. During interrogation, the suspect confessed to being a member of the Aye Confraternity cult group, and operatives of the Raiders unit acting on credible intelligence arrested the 43-year-old male Obi Onwibi in Dubuosu, while Akanya Agbora, commander of the Raiders unit, supervised the operation, and the suspects and exhibits are currently in police custody. According to the command, investigations are ongoing to trace the sources and distribution channels of the drugs. Anambra Police Command has arrested a 26-year-old suspect, Chubuike Anipe, over the alleged murder of his girlfriend, 35-year-old Ogochukwu Mmadubogo, in Ekulobia, Agwata local government area of the state. The police public relations officer in the state, Tochukwu Ikenga, who disclosed this in a statement released on Sunday in Awka, said the arrest was carried out by operatives attached to the State Criminal Investigation Department, Awka, on January 7. He described as false rumors circulating that the crime was committed by persons the suspect owed money, and during interrogation, the suspect confessed to stabbing the victim in the neck with a knife, an act that led to her death on December 9, 2025. Ikenga said the suspect confessed to committing the act over an alleged suspicion of infidelity, and the suspect claimed his huge financial investment in the victim left him bankrupt and emotionally distressed, which led to the fatal act. National Industrial Court sitting in Abuja has ordered the federal government to reinstate Professor Monday Igwe as medical of the Federal Neuroscience Hospital Enugu, declaring the termination of his appointment unlawful, null and void. The court also voided the appointment of Dr. Unogu Ngozichukwu Ineka as substantive medical director of the hospital during the pendency of the suits, describing the action as overreaching and unlawful. According to the certified true copy of the judgment delivered on December 11, 2025 on Sunday, Justice Emmanuel Subilim held that the claimant, Professor Igwe, had successfully proved his case against the defendant. Delivering judgments, the court specifically directed that Professor Igwe be reinstated as medical director of the institution to complete his remaining 3 years and 5 months in office, and further ordered the payment of the claimant's emoluments from September 23 up to the date of the judgment. The court, however, struck out the name of the Attorney General of the Federation from the suit on the ground that the court failed to establish any link between the AGF and the case. Lagos State government has ordered an investigation into the alleged medical negligence that led to the death of Nkanu Nnamdi, 21-month-old, son of renowned Nigerian author Chimamanda Adichie, at the private hospital in Lagos. A statement alleged that her son's death resulted from as criminal negligence, accusing the anesthesiologist involved of being criminally negligent, fatally casual and careless with the previous precious life of the child. According to the author, the child initially showed symptoms of a mild cold which later deteriorated rapidly into a severe infection, and reacting to the allegation, Ura Care Hospital, where the child was reportedly treated, said it had commenced an investigation into the incident. A statement by the hospital expressed sympathy to Adichie and her family, describing the loss as profound and unimaginable, adding that some reports surrounding the incident contained inaccuracies and described itself as a reputable center for complex medical care staffed by internationally trained and experienced professionals. The hospital said the child is critically ill and had been referred to a facility for specific diagnostic procedures after receiving treatment at 2 other pediatric centers, stressing that the medical team provided immediate care in line with established clinical protocols and internationally accepted medical standards, working collaboratively with external medical teams as recommended by the family. 2 people sustained injuries on Sunday morning after a loaded mini truck carrying perishable goods tipped over inland bridge near the Unilag waterfront in Lagos. In an update on X, the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority LASMA confirmed that the vehicle had been recovered, but the transfer of its cargo was still underway. Footage shared by the agency showed that the mini truck lying on its side while workers moved the perishable goods into another vehicle to clear the road. Osun State government has suspended further dealings with the state chapter of the National Youth Council of Nigeria following what it described as a deepening leadership crisis and controversy surrounding the body. The government, in a new release issued on Sunday, said ongoing disputes within the National Youth Council of Nigeria (NYCN) and concerns about issues related to allocated resources. According to the statement signed by the Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, Oluomu Alimi, the state ordered an investigation into the crisis through a 3-man committee made up of unaffiliated nominees, and while the probe is ongoing, the government said it would implement a directive earlier issued by the Federal Ministry of Youth Development to ministries and stakeholders in the youth sector. The statement by the Federal Ministry had in late 2025 communicated the withdrawal of the NYCN certificate of registration by the Corporate Affairs Commission and had also discontinued the dealings with the national leadership of the council, and the government also addressed what it described as attempts by the opposition to politicize developments within the youth sector, assuring residents that steps had been taken to restore stability. All Progressives Congress APC in Osun State has called for investigations by anti-corruption agencies into an alleged payroll fraud involving over 13 billion naira under the administration of Governor Ademola Adeleke. A statement signed by Kola Olabisi, its Director of Media and Information, alleged that a forensic audit of the state civil service uncovered payments to thousands of non-existent workers, while at a press conference on Friday, January 9, 2025, GT Ogunye, legal counsel to the Executive Vice Chairman and Chief Executive of Sally T-Bot Consulting Limited, Sadat A. Bakrin Otu, said the firm's audit identified 8,452 alleged ghost workers on the state payroll. Ogunye said the audit found that more than 13 billion naira was paid annually to the purported non-existent workers, describing the findings as the outcome of a forensic review commissioned by the state government, adding that the exercise conducted between June 2022 and April 2023 resulted in alleged monthly savings of 1.14 billion naira, translating to about 13.7 billion naira annually for the Osun State government. He said the firm submitted its full report to the governor on June 27, 2024 and publicly presented the findings and recommendations at the ceremony in Oshogbo on July 10, 2024, adding that despite repeated demands for the implementation of the reports, recommendations and payments for the concluded assignment, the firm had yet to receive a response, and the state government instead carried out a revalidation exercise to review the report. The legal counsel also alleged that members of the consulting firm's management had received threats following their insistence on the implementation of the audit recommendations, while the Osun APC urged the Nigeria police to investigate the alleged threats and further call on statutory anti-corruption agencies to examine the claims surrounding the reported 13 billion naira payroll payments. Operatives of the Ondo State Police Command have arrested no fewer than 25 suspected cultists in Usho community or local government area of the state. The suspects allegedly belong to the Black Axe Aye confraternity, also known as the New Black Movement (NBM), and were nabbed during an initiation procedure for new members. While describing the arrest as a major success for the police, the spokesperson for the command, Abayomi Jimo, said the arrested suspects were from Lagos, Osun, and Ondo State. According to him, the operation was carried out in line with the onslaught of the command against cult-related activities in the state, and intelligence-led tactics were deployed to disrupt the planned initiation. Jimo, who said that suspects had confessed their involvement in cult-related activities, said they would be charged in court upon the conclusion of investigations. Fire outbreaks occurred at the mattress section of the Ogun Guangdong Free Trade Zone, Igbesha, on Sunday. Eyewitnesses said the fire was triggered by a gas explosion from a foam-producing company in the industrial park, and the incident caused chaos and fear among students living around the Obanla axis of the area. Reacting to the incident, the president of the Student Union government in OG Tech, Ilo Fadelu Temitobe, in a statement signed by the East Secretary, Moses Josephine, and PRO Segbetin Sunday, called for calm among students, urging them to be vigilant and adhere strictly to safety measures. Kwara State Governor Abdurrahman Abdurazak has commended the 22 Armored Brigade of the Nigerian Army for its sustained efforts in enhancing security across the state, describing the brigade's contributions as critical to the protection of lives and property. A statement signed and released by Stephen Nwankwo, Acting Assistant Director, Army Public Relations, 22 Armored Brigade, Ilorin, said the commendation was delivered during the Nigerian Army Social Activities 2025 of the 22 Armored Brigade held at the Sobi Cantonment Parade Ground in Ilorin on Saturday. Represented by his Special Advisor on Security, Brigadier General Saliu Bello, retired, the governor praised the commitment, professionalism, and gallantry of officers and soldiers of the brigade in addressing security challenges in the state, adding that the collaboration between the Kwara State government and the Nigerian Army had continued to yield positive outcomes, and reaffirmed the administration's resolve to sustain its support for military operations across the state. The governor assured that his government would continue providing the necessary support and cooperation to the Nigerian Army to strengthen ongoing and future operations, while urging officers and men of the brigade to remain focused, proactive, and professional in charge of their constitutional responsibilities. Come address, the commander of the 22 Armored Brigade, Brigadier General Nicholas Rume, said the brigade achieved its 2025 training objectives through sustained training and operational engagement within its area of responsibility, and the efforts have significantly reduced security threats and improved public confidence, particularly in border communities and forest reserves. Unknown gunmen suspected to be bandits have again struck in a community in Bogu local government area of Niger State, killing 4 and rustling cattle. The recent attack comes barely 1 week after gunmen invaded Kasung Deji in the same local government area, killing 42, and after the villagers had retired to be operated illegally for some time unabated. This is coming after the Kenji Park had been the hideout for the bandits in the past few months, where they had been operating at will unabated. Confirming the incident, Chairman of Bogu local government area, Malam Abdullahi Mohammed Nasiru, said his council is under siege from terrorists, while the police in Niger State is yet to make comments on the matter. Kogi State Police Command has confirmed that scores of terrorists have been killed in the ongoing onslaught against troublemakers by the joint police and military. Police Public Relations Officer, the PPRO of the Kogi State Police Command, CSP William O.V. Aya, who confirmed this in a statement on Sunday, said the Assailants network was dislodged across forests in the state. According to the PPRO, the operation, which is being carried out with vigor, commitment, and utmost professionalism, was supported by the Nigeria Police Force I-Wing components through precision airstrikes. Federal Capital Territory Police Command has arrested 3 suspects in connection with the killing of a legal practitioner, Chibu Princess, allegedly linked to one-chance armed robbery operations in Abuja. A statement on Sunday by the Police Public Relations Officer SP Josephine Ade said the arrest followed directives by the Commissioner of Police, FCT Command Mila Dantawaye, to identify and apprehend those responsible for the crime. She said operatives of the Command Scorpion Squad had led by ACP Victor Ogbeide Godfrey tracked the victim's mobile phone using digital intelligence and carried out operations between January 5 and 10, 2026 in Dai Dakwa and Dan Tata communities in Kubwa. Others said investigations revealed that the suspects allegedly threatened the deceased and also demanded money and later pushed her out of a moving vehicle, leading to her death, while the suspects dispossessed the victim of her Android mobile phone, which was later sold in Dai for 120,000 naira. She said items recovered from the suspects included 5 scissors, 2 dagger knives, 2 knives, 1 long chain and 1 plier. While the body of Princess Chibo was found on the Kuba Expressway on Tuesday with her bag containing her identity card and other personal belongings recovered a few meters from the body. Jigawa State Police Command has enforced a ban on power bike and vehicle racing as it warned motorists, commercial drivers and motorcycle riders to exercise caution on roads across the state. The command said reckless driving, speeding, dangerous overtaking and illegal racing involving power bikes and vehicles are the major causes of these accidents. A statement signed by Suleiman Nguroje, the State Police Public Relations Officer, on Sunday said the Commissioner of Police, Dan Kombo Morris, strongly cautioned road users to adhere strictly to traffic rules and also confirmed that they have geared up to enforce the ban on vehicle and power bike racing on all public roads, warning that such acts pose grave danger to lives and property. Officers from the Central Motor Traffic Division, Divisional Police officers and other operational commanders have been directed to intensify patrols, surveillance and enforcement across major highways, urban roads and identified flashpoints within the state. The command also called on the public to assist in maintaining road safety by reporting reckless driving and other traffic offences. Parents, transport unions and vehicle owners were specifically advised to caution drivers and riders on the dangers of reckless behavior on roads. The Adamawa State Police Command said the measures are part of ongoing efforts to protect lives and property while promoting responsible road use in the state. At least 3 people were killed on night when suspected bandits attacked Bagaja community in Isha local government area of Sokoto State. The incident was contained in a post shared on X on Sunday by security analyst Bakasine that the attack was led by notorious bandits leader Bello Toji, who reportedly stormed the community with his fighters late at night. During the raid, 3 residents were killed while 7 women and children were abducted. As of the time of filing this report, there was no official statement from the Sokoto state government or security agencies on the attack. Jigawa State Police Command says this joint security operation has led to the arrest of 3 suspected armed robbers and fraudsters in Benin Kudu local government area. The operation took place at Baraki Fulani settlement, Ruga Fulani and Kangwarak village in Sudumina district. A statement signed on Sunday by the Police Public Relations Officer at Jigawa State Police Command, SP Shishu Lawan Adam, said the operation involved officers of the Nigerian Police Force, Nigerian Army, DSS, NSCDC, and local vigilantes. Police arrested 3 suspects and during a search of security operatives recovered several items including a locally made gun, 2 red Boxer motorcycles, 8 fake 50,000 Somalia shilling notes, 5 Techno mobile phones, power bank, knife, machete, and 620 naira believed to be proceeds of crime. According to preliminary findings, the suspects allegedly tricked victims by pretending to exchange foreign currency before ambushing and robbing them of their belongings. The suspects are currently in custody while investigations continue to identify other members of the gang and ensure proper prosecution. The Commissioner of Police, CP Dahiru Muhammad, have commended the officers involved in the operation and reaffirmed the commitment of security agencies to protect lives and property in Jigawa State, while urging residents to remain vigilant and support security agencies with useful information. You're watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We'll return after this break. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. This is the Global News on Atlantic Television Network, and now to the rest of our stories. Nigerian Army has intensified clearance and internal security operations across parts of Kwara and Niger states as efforts continue to combat banditry, kidnapping, and other security threats in the north central region. The Commander Headquarters 22 Armored Brigade Brigadier General Nicholas Rume, who disclosed this during the 2025 Nigerian Army social activities held at the Sobi Cantonment, Ilorin, Kwara State Capital, said the brigade has sustained several military operations within its area of responsibility, targeting criminal elements operating in border communities and forest reserves. He said the operations include Operation Fansanyama, Operation Harmony in Kwara State, and the recently concluded Operations Park Strike 4 and 5, which covered the Kenji Lake National Park in villages in Bogu local government area of Niger State, as well as Kaima and Baroten local government areas of Kwara State. He said Operation Fansanyama is currently ongoing, aimed at flushing out bandits and restoring peace to affected communities, adding that the Army has also strengthened its operational presence through the establishment of forward operating bases in Patigi and Ilemona, as well as patrol bases in Babasango and Daban Lema to support security operations within Kwara and neighboring state. He assured residents of the Army's readiness to sustain collaboration with other security agencies to ensure peace and stability. Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Projects have filed a lawsuit against the Independent National Electoral Commission over its alleged failure to account for 55.9 billion naira meant for the purchase of election materials for the 2019 general elections. A statement by its Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadare on Sunday said the funds were meant for the procurement of smart card readers, ballot papers, results sheets, and other election materials, and the allegations are contained in the latest annual report of the Auditor General of the Federation, published on September 9, 2025. In the suit filed last Friday at the Federal High Court in Abuja, Serap is seeking an order of mandamus to direct and compel INEC to account for the missing or diverted 55.9 billion naira meant to buy smart card readers, ballot papers, and other election materials for the 2019 general elections. Serap is also asking the court for an order of mandamus to direct and compel INEC to disclose the names of all contractors paid the 55.9 billion naira for the procurement of smart card readers, ballot papers, result sheets, and other election materials for the 2019 general election, including the names of their directors and stakeholders. Detailing the figure, the organization in the suit filed by its lawyers Kolawole Oluwadare, Kahinde Oyeyumi, and Andrew Wankwo also cited a 2022 audited report of the AGF, alleging that INEC irregularly paid over 5.3 billion naira to a contractor for the supply of smart card readers for the 2019 general elections. Serap also said the report alleged that INEC paid over 4.5 billion naira to 6 contractors for ballot papers and result sheets without documentary evidence of supply or proof of due procurement process, including advertisement, bid evaluation, approvals of certificates of eligibility, stressing that the AGF also queried the award of a contract for the supply of 4 Toyota Land Cruisers to INEC for over 297 million naira, while market surveys showed the vehicles did not cost more than 50 million naira each at the time, but INEC allegedly paid 74 million naira per vehicle. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has accused President Bola Tinubu's administration of abandoning Nigerian students studying overseas under the bilateral education agreement, warning that the alleged neglect has left about 1,600 young Nigerians stranded without support. A statement on Sunday, Atiku said the bilateral education agreement scholarship scheme was quietly axed under Tinubu without notice to parents or wards and without consideration for students already midway through their studies overseas, while describing the program as a diplomatic bridge now left broken. Article also said the Bilateral Education Agreement BEA was launched in 1993 and revitalized in 1999 after it was designed to enable Nigerian students to pursue undergraduate and postgraduate education through agreements with partner countries, adding that the decision has left students abroad without stipends as well as unpaid allowances now running into thousands of dollars per student. He said the hardship worsened between September and December 2023 when stipends were unpaid before allowances were slashed by 56% in 2024 from $500 to $220 per month and later stopped entirely. Article further said Nigerian scholars scattered across foreign campuses are still waiting not only for their stipends, for reassurance that their country has not forgotten them. National Secretary, New Nigerian People's Party (NNPP), Mr. Ogini Olaposi, says its 2023 presidential candidate, Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso, will not be allowed to contest the party's ticket for the 2027 presidential election. Olaposi said this in a statement on Sunday in Lagos that the NNPP 2027 presidential ticket will be open to only bona fide members wishing to contest the presidential and other elections, adding that Kwankwaso, who flew the NNPP ticket in 2023, will not be allowed to do so in 2027 due to disagreements with the NNPP and the Kwankwasia movement. According to Olaposi, the NNPP entered into a memorandum of association with the Kwankwasia movement in 2022, which expired after the polls, and it is laughable that Kwankwaso, if he must decamp to any political party, including the APC, they must offer him their presidential ticket. Olaposi urged political parties wishing to enter into alliance with the NNPP in 2027 to do so using the party's credible National Working Committee endorsed by the courts. Nigerian Bar Association Duse branch has demanded urgent justice in the case of the DSS officer Ifeanyi Onyenwenyi abducting, raping and forcing a 16-year-old girl, Miss Walida Abdullahi, to convert to Christianity and marry. This is coming after the controversy surrounding the alleged abduction, rape and forced conversion of Walida by DSS officer Onyenwenyi has been brewing for over 2 years, with the victim's father declaring her missing and conducting searches since she was 16. The recent revelation of her whereabouts and the alleged crimes committed against her has sparked widespread outrage, prompting the NBA Duse branch to demand urgent justice and accountability. At the moment, the case took a significant turn with the issuance of a court order on January 7, 2026, directing the authorities to arrest and investigate Onyenwenyi, and the NBA is now pushing for full compliance with the order as the investigation unfolds. A statement signed by the Publicity Secretary A.B. Umar, the NBA Duse branch, expressed shock and disbelief at the allegations against Onyenwenyi, saying the actions represent an appalling level of barbarism and a crass display of impunity. According to the statement, Ms. Abdullahi went missing at 16, and despite her parents' efforts to locate her, her whereabouts remained unknown for over 2 years, leading to her mother's death due to the trauma, while other statements revealed that Onyenwenyi contacted the victim's father, Abdul Hadi Ibrahim, in January 2006, admitting to having Miss Abdullahi in his custody for over 2 years and directing the father to Abuja for their marriage. Federal Minister of Health and Social Welfare has directed the stoppage of salaries of members of the Joint Health Sectors Union and the Assembly of Healthcare Professionals following the commencement of their strike on November 14, 2005. Addressed to all chief medical directors and medical directors of federal health institutions and dated January 8, the ministry said the directive was in line with the federal government's no work, no pay policy and will take effect from January 2026. The memo signed by the Director of Hospital Services, Dr. Abishola Adegoke, on behalf of the coordinating minister, instructed hospital management to strictly enforce the policy against all striking JHSU members and any other staff who might join the industrial action. The ministry also ordered hospital health to ensure that critical services such as accident and emergency care, labor wards, and intensive care units continue to operate during the strike. This is coming after the JHSU strike, which began on November 14, 2005, involves health workers across federal health facilities and has affected the delivery of some medical services nationwide. And now to some business news. Federal government has proposed spending a total of 33 billion naira on the rehabilitation and upgrade of airports, runways, aprons, terminals, perimeter fencing, and safety critical systems across the country in the 2026 fiscal year. The budget document shows that the funds will be deployed to repair cracked runways, expand aprons, fence airports, upgrade instrument landing systems, improve power supply, and modernize aging terminal facilities at both local and international airports. A major component of the allocation is the sealing of cracks on runways, aprons, and taxiways at major airports in Lagos, Kano, and Port Harcourt, estimated at 800 million naira. While another 800 million naira is proposed for the procurement and installation of airfield lighting systems at Ilorin Airport. The government also plans to undertake terminal rehabilitation and expansion projects, including the remodeling of the terminal building at Katsina Airport at 175 million naira, the rehabilitation and upgrade of the terminal building and car park at Calabar Airport for 200 million naira, and the expansion of the apron at Maiduguri Airport pegged at 800 million naira. The certification of Lagos and Abuja airports is slated to cost 400 million naira, and 350 million naira is voted for the upgrade of instrument landing systems from Category 1 to Category 2 and 3 at major airports. And gaining 1,491.52 points to settle as 162 160,298.8, up from 160,806.56 in the previous session. Market sentiment was positive, with 48 stocks recording gains against 28 decliners, indicating widespread buying interest across sectors. And now, international tidbits. Several hundred supporters of deposed Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro staged protests in the capital a week after his capture by U.S. forces as the interim government moved to revive ties with Washington and slowly released some prisoners. Waving flags and placards with the face of the mustachioed ex-leader and his wife Celia, around 1,000 protesters rallied in the west of Caracas and a few hundred in the eastern Petare district. Notably absent from the rallies were top figures from the government who said they are reviving diplomatic contact with Washington and discussing possible cooperation on U.S. President Donald Trump's oil demands. Despite the shock of his capture, during deadly nighttime raids on January 3, signs emerged Friday of cooperation with Washington to be in charge of the South American country and has pledged to cooperate with Trump over his demands for access to Venezuela's huge oil reserves. The U.S. Embassy in Colombia warned that the security situation in Venezuela remains fluid and advised Americans to leave the country immediately as commercial flights became available. Malaysian government has suspended access to Elon Musk's chatbot Grok over AI-generated pornographic content. The country's tech regulator said on Sunday that the decision follows global backlash after it emerged that Grok's image creation feature allowed users to sexualize pictures of women and children using simple text prompts, and Indonesia became the first country to deny all access to the tool, which has been restricted to paying subscribers elsewhere. The Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission said in a statement that it had directed a temporary restriction on access to the Grok artificial intelligence for users in Malaysia with immediate effect, and the AI tool is integrated